Hi, and greetings from the Renville County planter. Tonight we're going to make steak au poivre. It's French for pepper steak, and this recipe comes out of Alton Brown's Good Eats 2 cookbook. And of all the recipes of his that I've done, this is by far my favorite, not because it's complicated, it's actually quite easy to make, but the flavor. You're using tenderloin, which is the boss hog cut of the cow. Very tender, very good. In my last video where I did chicken fried steak, in that episode, very, very cheap cut of meat. This is a very expensive cut of meat. But the flavor that comes out of this is just fabulous. The first order of business is we are going to take whole black peppercorns, because we don't want to grind it into fine pepper. We just want to crack the peppercorns so that they're still somewhat together. What the hell, I'm going to stick all of these in there. Now, I'm going to use this to flatten these things out, but I paid a lot for these countertops and I do not want to trash them, so I'm actually going to go down to my furnace room floor, which is cement, and crack these down there. Okay, we got our pepper cracked, so we will put that into this bowl. And then the next step, we got our meat here. Sometimes there's pieces of, normally I buy the pre-packaged, I think they call it the Pismo. It's a packaged deal of the stuff. These were already pre-cut, but sometimes there's some silver skin on them you got to get off. These actually all look pretty good. They look pretty clean, so I might take and get rid of this little bit of fat in there. On that one, there's another one over here, so I will do that next. If you do your own tenderloin, there's a side muscle, and normally I split that off, so like this steak would end right there. So I'm just getting out some of this tough stuff. That's if I get, like I say, if I get the Pismo, I do it that way. See, there's another little piece right here. This is kind of a separate side muscle, so we will get that out of there. Pardon my dog. Okay. All right. Now that we have done that, next step, we are going to take kosher salt and liberally salt these things up, and then we'll leave them sit out at room temperature for at least a half hour, if not more, to let them come up to room temperature. And what this salt is going to do over the course of time is it's going to wick protein-laden juices to the surface, and that's going to help make the pepper stick to the piece of meat. So we will salt both sides and leave them sit. Kosher salt is a lot grainier, almost flakier than table salt. There's no iodine in it. And due to its kind of flat, flaky shape, it's good for pulling that moisture out on meats as opposed to table salt. Okay, we will leave these sit. If you have dogs, like we do, push these back and keep them out of the dog zone. Otherwise they're not dumb, they can smell. So push those back and keep them out of the dog zone. As you can see, The salt has wicked a lot of moisture up to the surface. And what did I do with the thing? Well, anyway, I gotta use this. Now what we'll do, grab our pepper, so I can get that into the shot, and just dab that into the pepper. And I'm just going to wipe off that spot where it was sitting. I got my pan heating up behind. I've got olive oil and butter in the pan. And that moisture that came up to the surface, that's going to make the pepper adhere. I'll go ahead and get the rest of these done.
Oh, we're halfway through done with that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll add our steaks to the pan.
You need a bigger pan? Why didn't you use your...
We kind of overcrowding the pan a little bit, but not bad. Now my in-laws like these more done, so I'm going to set my timer for at least probably 8 minutes, and then flip them. And from my other episode, if you don't relish the thought of wiping grease off of every surface in your kitchen, put this on top, and that will, it's not going to eliminate all the splattering, but it's going to help. We'll let those cook. Okay, I let these go about 10 minutes. And now we're going to take and flip these. It's okay if some of the pepper comes off because it's going to get into the sauce. Okay, I will let these go another, I think I went 10 minutes on that last batch. Some of my family doesn't like it real rare, so we'll go another 10 minutes. Okay, rotate your pan as you're going, and these have been on the second side now for quite a while, so I'm going to put these over into the pan with tin foil, and get those wrapped up. Next step, let's see, I'm going to pour out the extra grease that's in here, and then we will flambe this. Now, at this stage, we are going to pour alcohol into that pan to deglaze the pan. So there's certain things we have to do. First, well, we have our cognac out. We will be using a 1/3 cup of cognac. And we are dealing with alcohol under high heat. So there is a certain checklist we have to follow to be safe. One, we have a lid for the pan, just in case things get out of hand. And of course we need a stick lighter to light it. But most importantly, we have the fire extinguisher handy. A fire extinguisher, as Alton Brown always says, the only unitasker allowed in the kitchen. Everything else has to be able to do more than one thing. But we will want this on standby just in case things get out of hand. On that note, one time we did have our accountant people over for dinner one night. This was several summers ago, and I made this recipe and I doubled it. And instead of doing a batch of meat and a batch of sauce, another batch of meat and a batch of sauce, I did 2 batches of meat, and then I doubled the sauce. So instead of a 1/3 cup of cognac into the pan, I stuck 2/3 of a cup of cognac into the pan. And let's just say, it took me a while to get my eyelashes back, and I also got the cobwebs off the ceiling, because we had flames up and out along the ceiling. So again, you don't want to mess around with this stuff. Be safe. Okay, my first video, I couldn't get the lighter to light, so this time I'm going to make sure the lighter is on, and then I'm going to have the flame actually going off to the side. Pour in the cognac. Woo! There! Now we got it to work. Okay, we'll turn the lights back on again.
And he doesn't even have a fire extinguisher out.
It's right there. It's right there. Okay, so now
Not supposed to happen. Yeah, how did that happen?
we will put the cream in. Heavy cream.
The longer he waits to light it, the less it'll be. He dumped it in.
And what this, well, the cognac is going to deglaze the bottom of the pan and get all that nasty pan scab off. And then the cream is going to counteract the hotness of the heat of the pepper. So we'll bring this up to a simmer. And what I like to do is actually put just a little bit more cognac in it, just for flavor. And I got that up just about on high.
Bet you're not expecting that.
Once this comes to a boil, we'll let it reduce.
When Jared left him, Jared said, well, you don't ever let me.
I present to you steak au poivre. Look at that. This is called eating high on the hog. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will post a link to the recipe in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye.